The new Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay trailer came out, and I gotta say that trailer was incredible, but there's still some questions that I have, but I'll be breaking down the whole trailer plus the gameplay, so let's get right into it. The first few scenes show Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao, and Raiden. It's later told in the trailer that Liu Kang sent out Scorpion and Sub-Zero to find Kung Lao and Raiden to bring them onto the team. But something went wrong here because Sub-Zero goes and tackles Raiden. He also freezes his hands at the table, and Kung Lao and Sub-Zero start to fight. There is a scene here where Kung Lao throws his hat and it hits Sub-Zero in the head. Obviously, Kung Lao hasn't upgraded his hat yet, but it was a funny scene. And after the cinematic scene, we go straight into gameplay, and I believe if this is a chapter story, we might be Kung Lao here playing against Sub-Zero, so Sub-Zero might lose in this scene. One thing to notice here, it looks like throws are still a high, so you can neutral duck those. Now, are there crushing blows in this game? It doesn't look like it so far, so it looks like we might not be getting hit with those uppercut crushing blows. Thank goodness. What's really interesting to note in this arena specifically, if you take a look at the pictures on this pillar, we see three things. Starting from the top is what looks like a wanted poster for Suhao. Is he going to be a cameo character in Mortal Kombat? I'm not too sure. This could be just a little Easter egg. The second image is of Mortal Kombat 11's future Kano and past Kano, which is very weird. This sticks out like a sore thumb, especially if this is at some sort of restaurant or bar. Why is this on the pillar? Do they know of the past events from Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat X? What is going on here? And finally, the very bottom picture is of Scorpion and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 11. So there's a lot of questions here. Is this just a simple Easter egg, or is there more to this story? We get to see some awesome gameplay of Sub-Zero, and it looks like a lot of his combos involve him forming his ice powers into weapons, which is really cool to see. The next scene shows our very first look of Kenshi and Johnny Cage, and it looks like Kenshi might be a part of the Yakuza. But in general, this man already has some amazing skins, so I am very excited to play as Kenshi. And can I just point out real quick how incredible this stage looks? The fact that we finally get a Johnny Cage stage is incredible. I cannot believe it took this long. Now, this next scene is incredible. We get to see what supers are going to look like, x-rays or fatal blows, whatever you want to call them. I'm pretty sure they're going to be fatal blows. But for this scene in particular, we do see Kenshi with Sub-Zero. Now, is this going to be a part of the story? I'm not too sure. I think this might be a cut from story to gameplay, mostly because we see Sub-Zero in his classic MK1 skin. I don't know in the story if they would just kind of switch between skins throughout the story. I think that'd be kind of weird. So for this scene in particular, this might not be in the story. I think they just switched it real quick to gameplay. The next scene shows Fire God Liu Kang, and I gotta say, I love this Fire God Liu Kang skin. It is so cool. But if you take a look on the right-hand side, it looks like Kenshi is tied up. So I'm assuming for this chapter, we'll be playing as Johnny Cage, and we're gonna defeat Kenshi. My only question is, if we're playing as Johnny Cage in the story mode, who's his cameo fighter gonna be? Are some chapters not going to have cameo fighters? Are they just going to be single player? Or are all the chapters going to have cameo fighter? The next scene shows gameplay for both Scorpion and Fire God Liu Kang, and I gotta say, Fire God Liu Kang's details in his combos are incredible. We do see in this scene that Fire God Liu Kang is paired up with Jax as a cameo fighter. One thing to note, Jax was showcased at the Summer Game Fest on the cameo roster, so he might be subject to only cameos. We get to see some incredible gameplay for Scorpion, and I gotta say, I am loving these juggle combos, which reminds me of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And the fact that he can throw his spear mid-air to do a combo is crazy. Next up, we have the scene of Kenshi training Raiden, which is a very interesting concept. Raiden is learning how to use his powers. He's learning how to fight. He's being trained by Kenshi. This is a very interesting origin story for Raiden. But more importantly, let's take a look at this stage, and I'm gonna guess here that this is the Wuxi Academy. Take a look at the two monks who are training in the background. This stage looks exactly like the Wuxi Academy from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, where, unfortunately, Liu Kang got his neck snapped from Shang Tsung. Next up, we get to see some awesome cameo footage of Sonya and Kano. We get to see the classic Sonya leg grab, which is awesome. They're both sporting their classic Mortal Kombat 1 looks, which is incredible. That seems to be a common pattern with cameo fighters. They're all dressed up in their classic costumes. Now again, I do think this is a totally different scene from the story to gameplay. I think they just chose these two fighters on this stage for gameplay. I don't think this corresponds with the story, because why would Raiden be paired up with Kano, and why would Kenshi be paired up with Sonya in the story mode? That just doesn't make any sense. Which makes me think, are some chapters going to be solely 1v1, or are they going to have some cameo fighters in them? A blink and you'll miss it scene. Cameo fighters are going to be a part of Breakers, which is totally awesome. And can I point out here, the combo they just showed with Raiden and Kano was insane. The fact that this cameo fighter came in and extended the combo twice made it look 10 times better. But with Mileena, it turns out she has a disease, and that's why she's going to slowly morph and look more Tarkatan, which is a nice twist on the origin story here. Later on, we find out Mileena is actually the emperor or princess, which is crazy. Take a listen.
I only want what's best for you.
Or do you secretly covet my throne?
And this scene goes right into gameplay, which I think is beautiful. That transition from character select to the stage is so amazing. Whoever came up with that idea needs a raise ASAP. We get to see more awesome air juggle combos with Katana. Again, I am super excited to have those implemented into the gameplay. It reminds me a lot of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. This stage is probably set in Edenia. It doesn't look like Outworld, so I'm assuming that Mileena is the emperor, empress, or princess of Edenia. One thing I didn't like here was the cameo fighter of Goro. Not because it wasn't Kintaro. That's a totally separate issue. We're not going to go on that because, woo! If Kintaro is not in this game, man, I'm gonna be so upset. But it's the fact that Goro is almost the same exact height as Mileena and Katana. It's very strange. We see all these cameo characters sporting their classic outfit, and Goro is the only one so far that's not. I wish he was just a little bit taller, and I'm hoping that he gets to sport his classic outfit. And in one of the next scenes between Fire God Liu Kang and Mileena, this might be the Living Forest. You can't really tell when you're first watching this trailer, but after rewatching it, if you look at the trees, they have faces. So is this the Living Forest in Mortal Kombat? And we cannot forget that Stryker is in Mortal Kombat again. And he's sporting his classic outfit, which is incredible. I love it so much. We do get to see more of the cameo fatal blows, which is an awesome feature, how you can have both your main character and the cameo character team up for a fatal blow. And thank the heavens that Kung Lao finally gets his classic Mortal Kombat 2 skin. It is a skin that I've been saying needs to return for a long time. That boy looks so clean, bro. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. So it looks like Fire God Liu Kang's ending in Mortal Kombat 11 is canon, which is interesting because in the community event, Ed Boon said that this isn't a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11, but here at the Summer Game Fest, it looks like he says that Fire God Liu Kang creates a whole new universe. So not too sure. It seems like it's canon. Okay, so now let's take a look at the roster here. The base roster has 24 playable characters. Now, of course, later on we're getting a DLC, so that number is going to go up. It does look like all the characters are going to have a gray background, so that colorful background from the old Mortal Kombat games isn't going to be in this game. However, there is color added when you highlight over every single character. We do see that player 1 gets orange and player 2 gets blue. And I gotta stop here and say that this select screen is beautiful. It is my favorite select screen for NRS so far. They went back to the horizontal, which is amazing. The vertical is okay, but I'm more of a fan of the horizontal roster. During the Summer Game Fest, they showcased 4 characters on the main roster. From left to right, those being Sub-Zero, Ken-Shi, Katana, and Fire God Liu Kang. But next up, they showcased the second roster, which is for cameo characters only. On this roster, we have Kano, Sonya, and Jax, which for all those fans, I know could be a little bit scary. Ed Boon did say that some characters from the main roster will be cameos as well, so some of these little blank areas we have can be for main characters. I'm assuming there's going to be DLC for cameos as well, so we have that to look forward to. But keep in mind that these 3 cameo fighters are not the only ones we saw. Remember, there were Sub-Zero, Kung Lao, Goro, Stryker, Johnny Cage, and I'm assuming Scorpion's going to be a cameo fighter too. So that's 6 already. And like I said before, the transition from character select to fighting at a stage was perfect. Now comes the fun part where you get to see the actual live gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1. Ed Boon makes it very apparent that cameo fighters are going to be a 1-push button, and it looks like it's going to be R1. Ed Boon also noted that you're going to be able to push your analog stick in a certain direction. It's pretty much going to work like tag assist in Mortal Kombat 11. The only difference is that in this game, you have to push R1 and a directional on your analog stick, whether that's up, down, left, or right. In Mortal Kombat 11, all you had to do was just push on your analog stick up, down, left, or right. You didn't have to push R1. Ed Boon mentioned that a lot of the cameo characters are going to be nod to the old game, so we might see some 3D era representation as cameo fighter. Now, of course, we all hope that some of these 3D era characters make it onto the main roster, but some of them just might be only subject to cameo fighters. And there's a whole lot more content coming. Ed Boon mentioned that throughout the whole summer and leading up to the release, they're going to be throwing out so many videos and mentions about cameo fighters, the gameplay, and the main roster. So there's a lot to look forward to. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your guys' thoughts on the Mortal Kombat gameplay reveal? What are your thoughts on cameo fighters? What do you like and what do you dislike?